Dr. Maleeha Jawaid, one of the most popular dermatologists and aesthetic physicians in Karachi. ऐसा लगता है that all of Karachi is going to her and consulting with her. So you can take this as a free consultation with her. Maleeha, thank you so much for taking out the time. I know how terribly busy you are.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad आज छुट्टी हो गई तो I think it just kind of worked out well for us.
It worked out well, and ये ऐसा एक topic है that I think everybody talks about it.
Yes,
everybody wants to know more and more about it.
Yeah.
And एक endless जो है ना एक reservoir of information है. कुछ सही भी है, बहुत quackery भी है.
Yes, yes.
And कुछ trends हैं जो कि healthy trends भी हैं, unhealthy trends भी हैं about skincare. But the idea of this podcast is that, you know, by the time women turn 50, they should at least be literate about this certain topic.
Yes.
And because skincare and hair care is so important in our lives, what to do through time, you know, to be sort of in control by the time you're 50. So where does it start? How much is hormonal or no? How much is DNA? Pehli baat ye hai.
Yeah.
Genetic.
So I feel a lot is DNA, to be very honest, because I get a lot of patients. So primarily I deal with females. Males aate hain, but I would say 80% of my patient population would be females.
Right.
And majority aate hain, they're like, oh, falan ke to wrinkles nahi hai. We're the same age. Meri ammi ki patni behan ki kaun khala ki beti uski to aise nahi hai. So I always tell them that there's a lot of genetics that plays over here. So be it your hair, be it your skin color, your skin texture, your skin type, acne, wrinkles. So ye kafi zyada genetics aa jate hain. Of course, environment plays a big role over here, and more than that, what you're doing for it. So if you have acne and your lifestyle is such which is encouraging more acne, for example, and this I'm talking about maybe, you know, like up ke early teens and 20s wale age group mein. Later on in like 40s, 50s, acne ki occurrences usually like a rare issue. Hoti hai, but relatively less. So it really depends on what your environment is looking like, what you're doing for it, what you're not doing for it. Aapke lifestyle habits can, that again is something that ties into what you said. Ke where do you start from? How do you start building on that lifestyle which will help you feel empowered by the age of, let's say, 50 and onwards, कि you feel like you have things under control. इसमें ये कि there is so much information on the internet, up to Instagram and TikTok. I was surprised the amount of information there's on TikTok. वो 10-10 सेकंड की वीडियोस में लोगों को ऐसा कन्विंस कर देते हैं कि आप ये लगाएंगे तो आप ये बन जाएंगे, ये खाएंगे तो ऐसा बन जाएंगे. So I think it's really important to navigate through all of that, and for somebody to really sit down and be like, ये सही है, ये गलत है. Because I feel like मैं आधा वक्त अपनी कंसल्ट्स में ना, I'm just like debunking half the things. नहीं, हमने तो ये देखा था, मैंने कहा अच्छा इसमें ये गलत है, इसमें ये सही है. So there's a lot of information that's on the internet, which really needs to be tackled. I feel like very mindfully.
But if we think of young girls, and I think the first landmark in their life perhaps would be puberty.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's when most of the acne breakouts happen. And you know, the skin problems bhi tab hoti hain. Us waqt how do you start? That is where the skincare process starts.
So actually, I would correct you over here. Skincare process, I think, starts even earlier. Like
really?
Sunblock, for example.
Right.
ठीक है, acne and oily skin होती है, वो puberty के बाद definitely होती है, because oil glands become more active. You know, वो hormones का effect with the testosterone, estrogen, etc. All of that comes into play right at puberty. But before that, especially school-going kids, जो school-going लड़कियाँ, उनका sun exposure actually ज़्यादा है compared to somebody who's in like college and university, because वो sports class, this, that, तो वहाँ पे sunblock miss हो जाता है लोगों का. And then they're like, oh, हमें तो पता ही नहीं था. So this is what I keep telling people. And just today I opened my Instagram and somebody had messaged, I'm taking my 2-month-old daughter to Umrah. What sunblock should I take? And I was just like, I had no answer for her. I was like, ये दो extremes चल रही हैं यहाँ पे. वो 2-month-old daughter को भी sunblock चाहिए, फिर जो ज़रा ज़्यादा जिनको चाहिए sunblock वो तो लगा ही नहीं रहे अपना. So sunblock I think is probably one of the most important things.
So
and
मेरे
that starts
में भी I have to admit ये सवाल आ रहा था कि what is too young? When do you start?
So
with
generally
sunblock?
speaking, I tell people after the age of 1 you can start putting sunblock.
As in 1-year-old? Okay then.
Yeah, and जो obviously कोई नहीं करता, मतलब कोई नहीं करता. ये तो मुझे भी खुद ये dermatology करने के बाद पता लगा था कि ठीक है, आप 1 साल की उम्र से you can safely start putting on sunscreen and stuff. And वो भी उसमें different types होते हैं. कौन सा वाला बच्चों का थोड़ा kid friendly sunscreen होता है, which will not irritate their eyes, etc. Bunch of those things. But ideally when the kid starts going to school is when you want to start using a sunblock. Especially अब तो school भी I think इतनी जल्दी शुरू हो गए हैं, preschool and play groups and whatnot.
अपने बच्चे को register करें play group में
और sunblock खरीदें.
month में 2 in 1
2 in 1
2 in 1 ये आपकी deal होनी चाहिए
yeah
right so
and
that young
and for the puberty thing that you mentioned, of course so puberty के time पे there's a lot of hormonal changes right, मतलब there's increase in estrogen, वो testosterone का effect आता है तो उसमें the sebaceous glands which is what produces the oil जो sebum कहते हैं, they become more active and वो skin पे oily होना, acne होना, that's when it starts. And again genetics plays a very strong role over here. एक हमारे पास ना बड़े खास assessment का तरीका होता है कि if girls let's say around the age of 11-12 come in with acne on the center of their face, like let's say nose or forehead पे, we know it's going to be bad, it's going to be really bad in the next couple of years. और वो फिर उनसे सवाल दो और पूछें तो पता रहता है कि अम्मा अब्बा दोनों को बहुत बुरी acne, so you know genetics बहुत उनकी strong है. So for them we kind of start on like earlier intervention कि जरा instead of like a very mild soap we'll give them a slightly stronger acne based cleanser and acne based वो and early age में retinols भी हम शुरू करते हैं, मतलब for acne not like anti aging but for, I know ये लोगों का ना बड़े एकदम सोचते हैं कि ओ हम retinol, मैंने कहा think of it as a दवाई not as an anti aging thing. So that's really when you want to start taking control of your skin.
Right. So that early. And one must be aware and cognizant of the fact that, you know, कोई problem है उसको address करें.
जी, absolutely.
Do you think that the fact that younger girls are into heavier makeup now, ये makeup ज़्यादा हो रहा है, does that play a role in
that skin? Does, definitely it does. Makeup की I think awareness भी ज़्यादा है, availability भी ज़्यादा है, you know, there's left right brands भी हैं, सारी चीज़ें, accessibility भी बहुत ज़्यादा है, and I feel girls have definitely become more conscious. I don't remember putting on makeup till I don't know when, शायद university college तक शायद basics होता होगा, you know, like kajal and वो mascara type, not like thick layers of foundation. A lot of times what I've seen, girls are now doing makeup to cover up, you know, वो acne को भी cover up करेंगे, निशान को भी करेंगे, because obviously there's a lot of body shaming unfortunately कि जी वो skin देखो, निशान देखो, people will come pinpoint कि जी तुम्हारी चेहरे पे क्या वो, ये तो बहुत, I've had people break down in the clinic so many times कि नहीं वो university college में like school type में bullying वो लड़कों ने कुछ कह दिया तो जी लड़कियों ने कुछ कह दिया, teacher ने कुछ कह दिया, you know, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on.
Yeah, the pressure to look गोरा, अब तो that is unreal. I feel ये तो सबसे बड़ा, मैं उस दिन किसको कहती, मैं कहा हमारा जो pandemic है वो ये है more than anything else, because there is this wild obsession of wanting to look गोरा. गोरे को भी गोरा और होना है, जो गोरा नहीं है उसको तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा गोरा होना है, and it's the pressure from the parents also. I've had mothers bring in their daughters, and these are daughters who are in their late 20s, they're working with the university, college, काम वाम करें, it's the रिश्ता time, you know, रिश्ता process वाला time है. I've had mums come in, point to their daughter's face in front of me like इसका रंग साफ करें, इसकी शक्ल साफ करें, and I've had girls cry in my clinic कि जी, that's so sad.
It's really sad. And I've had to tell off mothers multiple times. Like मतलब मुझे लगता है मेरी आदत उनसे लड़ाइयाँ हो रही होती हैं. And I tell them, I'm like, अगर आप ये घर में बोलेंगे, so how do you feel your daughter is going to feel empowered when she goes out? ठीक है, sure, she might be dark, she might have a skin problem. You still need to, she's still your child. I mean, she's gotten what you've given her. तो आप उसको empower नहीं करेंगे तो बाहर जाके तो दुनिया उसको बोलेगी, तो वो तो वैसे ही confidence खत्म हो जाएगा. तो ये चीज़ तो बहुत ज़्यादा है. ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा है
Unfortunately, हमारा मीडिया भी इसकी perpetuate करता है.
100%. ये गोरे होने की जो drips हैं और गोरे होने की दवाइयाँ जो हैं सारी, ये तो बहुत
हैं,
ये तो
creams हैं, whitening creams हैं, all of that.
बहुत ज़्यादा इसका problem.
ये तो एक, that's an entire different conversation.
100%.
And obviously we don't want to go down that route if we want to feel empowered and happy with ourselves as age goes by. But the 20s is an important decade, right?
20s I feel is probably the most pivotal point in your life in any sense actually. I think career point of view say financial decisions हो गए, finding the right life partner, finding the right, I think just finding your own style and discovering yourself. I feel like 20s is very pivotal for anybody.
So how important is it to eat healthy in your 20s for your skin? Or does it have any relation?
No, 100%. So that's what I tell people कि diet I think plays a very, very integral role. Diet में आपका खाना भी आ जाता है, diet में आपके supplements भी आ जाते हैं, आपके macronutrients, micronutrients, you know, so there's a bunch of those things. But people think कि जी हमने सिर्फ अंडा खा लिया काफ़ी है, फिर पूरा दिन chips and burgers ये करें. Okay, sure, you can have that once in a while. I mean, you can't stop anybody. I have it every once in a while. Indulge तो हर कोई करता है. But you have to have a balance. You have to have your multivitamins. You have to have your supplements. But you know,